Oh, those were the days, as they say. But we got a treat for you this morning. A real treat. Uh, going into the bag. Going into the bag this morning. And the great Sugar Ray Leonard. Check this out. By the one and only Sugar Ray Leonard.
Second round. From nowhere, when it opened up, and look at this. Horrible.
Staying right there. Measuring his spot, pounding to the body, and a right to the head. If Davey Crow steps in, that's
One strong right, and back to his feet. Now when it's opening up, and there it is. Life is the punishment, but it's tremendous down for the young Olympic fight. Tremendous. His hand goes.
To do this to him. Now Sugar Ray is just cleaning up on it. 30 seconds left to go in the fifth round. You see Sugar Ray with the shuffle. And Santor holding on at the knee. Off balance, ready to fall to the floor. Only courage keeping him up.
Another left hand to the face of on by Sugar Ray Leonard. A flicking right down is harmless. Back the other way. 3-4 punches to the face now of Larry Bonds. Right above us once more. A right hand to the down and on.
a little range with the left jab now. Right hand staggers Tommy Hearns. Hearns in trouble again. Leonard all over him. Leonard pounding away with combinations inside. Hearns trying to grab him. Can't do it. Hearns driven into the ropes. Leonard pulls him right through the ropes. Dave
is the first nut. See the left, and he left himself open for that counter right. Worst thing you could. Now here's the second. Just watch. On the right, please. So well used, followed by the left in time. That was it. That was
We are live, Black Press Live, with the great Sugar Ray Leonard in my imitation Howard Cosell voice. At the age of 20, Sugar Ray Leonard won his first professional fight. Not only winning his first fight, but he set the stage for a collection of the most memorable fights in all of boxing history. He went on to defeat some of the greatest boxers of the modern era. And these were true contenders, true champions. Wilfred Benitez, Roberto Duran, Tommy Hearns, Marvelous Marvin Hagler. During Leonard's 20-year professional career, the champ won world titles in the welterweight division, junior middleweight, super middleweight, light heavyweight, and he was just simply the best at what he did. And in fact, I dare say he is the greatest living fighter of all time. The one and the only Sugar Ray Leonard. Thanks for joining us, Sugar Ray.
Stacey, how you doing, man? How things going for you?
I can't complain. I got you on the other side. Listen, it's been 40 years, Ray. 40 years since Duran, and it looks like, Ray, I don't know, are you still in Montreal because time stood still? Because you look like the same guy from 40 years ago.
You know, man, I look at those fights sometimes, and I tell you, it takes me back. I can go back so close that I can vividly, clearly see what it felt like, what I saw, what I did, what I should have done. Oh, it was an illustrious career.
Well, then let's do that, Ray. Let's go back to Montreal, because this was going to be an amazing challenge for you. It was an amazing challenge for you. The Hands of Stone, Roberto Duran, and prior to that fight, there was a lot of ugliness, a lot of, from Duran's side too. I mean, he really got under your skin, it seems like it was hard to do, but he got under your skin, and you decided, Ray, to brawl with this man who never loses a brawl.
He taught me. He was a professor. I was a student. Far more experience than I had. Stronger than you. I mean, he's a lightweight. He came from a lightweight, 132. I mean, Duran was so powerful, and he punched with conviction. He hit me so many times, and I thought there was someone else in the ring. I thought it was an magician. So I looked around and said, who else was in this ring besides the referee? But I tell you what, it taught me a big lesson that you need to keep this stable, keep this solid.
Yeah.
I want to get back at him because he cursed my wife, he cursed me, and I want to beat him up. And the only way I could beat him up was to stay toe-to-toe, which was not smart.
Yeah, and this was what folks don't realize. When you fought, many of the fights was 15 rounds, and this first fight with Duran was 15 rounds, and it was a slugfest.
Yeah, I mean, it was even more than that, Stacey. After that fight, I went back to my room, and the doctor came in there and drew blood from my ears so he wouldn't cauliflower. That was the worst pain. And even then, I contemplated retirement because I said, I can't do this, for long. Just can't do it. I mean, it was a battle. Those punches hurt.
Well, fortunately for fight fans everywhere, you didn't retire, because a few months later, you caught up with Roberto Duran in New Orleans. Round 2, or fight 2, I should say. Yeah. Going into this fight, Ray, what was the mindset going into it? I know revenge is probably doesn't serve fighters well, right? If that's all you're thinking about. But what went into planning and preparation for the super fight number 2?
I took my wife to Hawaii just to get away, because she fainted at the fight that night. She fainted that night at the fight because she's never seen me get hit so violently, and I wanted to take her away and let her, just cool out. And I was I know I was down the beach running, and some of the fans said, "Hey, Sugar, you could have won that fight if you had boxed him." I kept hearing that over and over and over again. You should have boxed him, right? You should use your hand speed, use this and use that. So I called my business partner, Mike Trainer. I said, "Mike, I want to fight Duran." He said, "Ray, are you on vacation?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, come home. After you come home, we'll talk." I said, "No, I'm coming home tomorrow." That's I cut my vacation short. But I knew I could beat him. But after that physical contact with him, I didn't know if I wanted to. I didn't know if it was a mind thing, mental.
Yeah. And so you step into that ring, and we all remember how the introductions went. But something else went just before the opening bell happened, Ray. And I probably don't have to prompt you too much on it, but something happened that you knew when this happened, there was no way you were going to walk out of that ring a loser. Can you explain what that was?
Well, I was totally confident. I felt that if I fight my fight, use my hand speed, use my mobility and what have you, I could beat him. But it's a whole different story once you're in that ring, in that first bell ring, and then that means you must go to work. Yeah, I mean, you really don't know. You don't know. You feel confident, but when that bell rings, you must show. And what happened, Stacey, Ray Charles sang America the Beautiful. And so my name is Ray Charles. My mother named me after Ray Charles. And all of a sudden, when he finished singing, he walked over to me, gave me a big hug, and said, "Kick his ass." I said, yeah. And I mean, of all the places to meet my namesake, was in one of the most important fights, the biggest fights of my career.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And so we get the opening bell. We see you doing something different this time than the first time. We see Ray Leonard, Sugar Ray Leonard, as they say, on the bike. We see you dancing. Why the change? I mean, like you said, you felt like you could have beat him in the first fight, even fighting his fight. But why did you feel the need this time to dance around Duran, dance in that ring?
You know, it would have been much harder, and I couldn't beat Duran toe to toe like that. I mean, he had hand speed, he had incredible power, tenacity, and everything. So when I was in the ring and I was moving around, and then I did that, and then I took my chin out and it came back because I was feeling comfortable. And I heard people laughing. I heard some of the fans laughing. And I did it again. Then I did this here, pow with the other hand, and they laughed. And he just was, I think he was discombobulated. Because he was, it's like a bully. It's like a bully. Picture a bully in school. He push you around, then if you sock him, he's gonna do one or two things. He's gonna annihilate you or run away. And he did the other.
Yeah, when you mentioned too, and we all can picture that. If you saw that fight, the time you stuck your chin out, you taunted him, you did the bolo. At what point were you confident enough to do that? At what point did you realize he's mine?
It really was the first round, because I was moving around, boxing, using the ring size, sticking my chin out, faking them, and using my hand speed, and I just felt in control. So I felt very dominant at that point, and each round I felt more and more confident and more prepared to take on what he did in Montreal to me.
Yeah, we are talking with the great Sugar Ray Leonard. This is Black Press Live. We are so glad to have the champ with us. We are talking about the second Roberto Duran fight. Believe it or not, it's been 40 years. Ray, 40 years, Ray. So you, you probably got grandkids by now, right?
Do I have kids? Yeah, grandkids.
But so, was it the 6th round or the 8th round? Remind us when he decided he had had enough. 8th round. Mm-hmm. And we saw him do something that no fighter, and I'm sure you probably learned this when you was a small child, before you even went into the ring the first time. You never turn your back on your opponent. But Duran threw his hands up and he was walking away.
Well, I thought it was a trick. I thought that he was trying to lure me, get me closer to him. And because my brother Roger, he yelled, he said, Ray, he quit. And I looked and I said, well, and because what had happened, he did this. And what does this mean, Stacy? I mean,
I quit.
I quit. And because there was, and I understand Duran that he didn't say no mas. I didn't hear him say no mas. But when you do that means you don't want it anymore. But whatever the case may be, it was a bizarre result, bizarre ending. It was a shock to the boxing world, fraternity, that he did that.
Yeah.
And the answer.
Yeah. And you know, you did a wonderful special. I wanted to say it was a 30 for 30 with ESPN.
Yes.
On that particular fight, and you addressed that. You met with Duran because you really wanted to know why he stopped fighting.
Yeah.
Why was that so important to you, Ray? You clearly humiliated, you clearly beat this man, but why was that so important to you to get that answer from him?
Well, because people were saying, well, Duran quit, he this, he no mas, he this and this, and I understand what he had to deal with his fans, with boxing critics and what have you. I mean, Roberto Duran was machismo. He was the best. He was tough as nails, and for him to be looked upon as being a quitter, I really felt for him, and that's why I say, in all due respect, he said that he had cramps. Hey, I accept that. You had cramps. I take that. And that's what I said in Panama for 30 for 30. And I didn't want to go to Panama because I thought the people wouldn't like me there. It was just the opposite. It was the fans there were just the opposite.
Yeah. Ray, one of the things we always do when we have a guest on, we love to allow their fans to show their love. So I just want to run down a couple for you right quick. Brian Campbell says, Ray never got enough credit for his power. Annette Phillips logs in and says, hello, with Michelle. Good evening, everyone. Annette Phillips, David Youngblood, Kevin Zini, Steve Martin says, you are his idol. Geraldine Bridgeport, hello, Mr. Leonard. And Emilio Santana, Leonard versus Hearns was the most anticipated fight I ever wanted to see till this day, the showdown. And Emilio, that's where we going now, because you know, 1981, September 1981 in Las Vegas, the showdown at Caesar's Palace. Who will ever forget? And Ray, 12th round, I'm going to jump around a little bit here and go to the end of the 12th round. And one of the most iconic things ever said in the ring, or in the corner anyway, was by the great Angelo Dundee. And he admonished you, Ray, that you were blowing it. How does a fighter in a championship, this is a unification bout too, in a championship bout, how do you take that when your trainer, your corner man is saying, hey, you're blowing this?
You know what, Stacey, I'm glad you asked that question. It was the perfect soundbite. He said, you're blowing it, son, you're blowing it. And I'm telling you, I was exhausted. I mean, it was so hot in that ring. I threw punches in my arm, I was arm weary. But when he said that, it was like, you're blowing it, son, you're blowing it. And I just felt that electricity that he was putting out. He didn't scream, he didn't get yelling, he didn't yell. He said it the right way at the right time. And fighters know, we know when we are losing or behind on points. We're in that ring. And when he said that, I went out there, I collected myself, and I went back out there, and then I caught Tommy with the right hand, and then that was all downhill from there. But I was blowing it, son. I mean, I can hear that now.
Well, you said you caught him with the right hand, Ray. If history serves us right, if memory serves me right, you hit Tommy Hearns with probably 100 punches in about 5 seconds. It was unbelievable. You talk about a response. you went out in the 13th round and you absolutely destroyed this man who had really given you fits throughout the night. What other than, was it really Angelo Dundee's inspiration? What was happening in that 13th round?
I just need that little encouragement, that little boost to let me know that what's happening, I'm seeing this. Because again, Stacy, fighters, especially veterans, we know when we're losing. We know that. We feel that. We sense that. And I knew it was close, but I also figured that he had the edge because Tommy was outboxing me at one point, and he was the aggressor at one point. It wasn't until I made a conviction of saying, I'm going fight. I'm going inside. I'm going inside and take him out, and that's what happened. I became a little more dominant.
Yeah, and earlier in that fight, 6th round, something else as a fan of yours, really, I remember so well because the first 5 rounds of that fight, even I was doubting you, and then 6th round, you found, like all great fighters do, you found a weakness. Can you tell everyone, remind everyone what that weakness is that you found and you exploited? Because we kept hearing your corner afterwards yell out to you to go after it.
It wasn't Tom. It wasn't the fact that he had a weakness, because Tom he's a freak of nature with his height and reach. And 147, his power, knockout power in both hands. Tommy has the best, one of the biggest hearts. So Tommy had a whole package. I just had to use what I had, and I had speed, and I had power. And when I caught him with the left hook, and I said, now it's my turn. But I tell you, it was back and forth. It was like back and forth, back and forth. I was so exhausted. I've never been so exhausted in a fight like that. And after the fight, I went back to my room, man, and I stayed and I just slept all night and all morning. I was exhausted. It took everything out of me to beat a guy like Tommy Hearns. I mean, he was at that level.
Yeah, and you hit him with a body shot that, from that point, that 6th round, he dropped his I believe it was his left hand or one of his hands anyway. He dropped it, and you had him ready to go a couple of times between the 6th and the 9th round, and I kept hearing your corner, body Ray, body Ray. Yeah. They wanted you to attack that weakness, that body, and you, as you articulated already, by the 12th round, you had gotten a bit winded, a little tired.
Yes, exactly. I was exhausted. I mean, that's when you call upon that interior intestinal fortitude. That's when you call upon that little thing that allow that person to lift the car of his trapped child. It's that heart.
Yeah. I recall Muhammad Ali before that fight. Everybody was weighing in, and of course, over 23,000 saw it live, right, at Caesar's Palace. And Muhammad Ali said, Hearns is a puncher, and he's great, but he called you at that stage in your career. He said you were a legend, and coming from the greatest. And I know that you patterned at least some of your career after Ali, but coming from Ali, what did that mean to you? And did that give you any more incentive?
Incentive? I mean, that's an understatement. I mean, Muhammad Ali was my idol. He was my friend. And I recall so clearly that I walked into the ring that night. I'm walking around the ring, and I'm gazing out into the audience. And I said, all right, so now I got to fight Tommy Hearns. I said, who in this arena can beat Tommy Hearns? And I looked down, and who did I see? I saw Muhammad Ali. So if you go back and watch the first round of the fight, you'll see that I'm moving like Muhammad Ali, because Ali was about this and heart.
Yeah. And Ray, a few months after the Tommy Hearns fight, I remember opening up a newspaper, and front page of the sports section, Leonard Ray Leonard is retiring from boxing. Shocked everyone. And then we read the story, and we learn that you had a detached retina. Can you go back there for a moment? It must have been really scary. And how are you doing now? How's that? Has that affected you at all later in life?
Well, I retired in I retired many times, and too. But Dr. Ron Michaels, he's my ophthalmologist. He said, he did the surgery. He said, Ray, you know what? If you want to fight again, you can fight again, because now with technology, your left eye is just as strong as your right eye. But people really were concerned about me. I mean, the fans and my family members, they didn't want me to take that chance of possibly going blind. I mean, could that have happened? I mean, who knows? Who knows? But the chances were, from what my doctor said, that my left eye would be just as strong as my right eye. Knock on wood, I have had no problems whatsoever. I get checked up every year or so. But you know, I didn't know what the hell a detached retina was anyway, by the way. I didn't know, you know. But looking back in retrospect, I mean, that's who I was. I mean, I wanted to fight. I was in my 20s. I was in the prime of my career, and I wanted to fight those guys like Hagler and the other great fighters, champions. And it wasn't about the money at that point. It was about my legacy of being a fighter.
Yeah. And so you leave the sport for a little while, but you never really left. Your heart never left it, that's for sure. But speaking of that heart, Ray, can it get you in trouble sometimes, because you picked quite a fight with quite. You mentioned a bully. I don't want to call Marvin Hagler a bully, but the biggest guy on the block. You decide, you know what, I'm going to take him on. What was in that process? I know that you had watched him and Tommy Hearns give perhaps the greatest 3 rounds in boxing history. And did you see something there? Because that seems like it would have frightened many people to say, you know what, there's no way I'm touching this guy.
But that, you know, Stacey, that's what happened. I was doing commentary for HBO, and I'm sitting there, and I'm watching this fight, and it was the most violent 3 rounds I've ever seen. And I said, well, no, I'm not going back. I'm not coming back. No, no, I'm not coming back. And then his second fight, Hagler's second fight, following fight, and John the Beast Mugabe was his name. And this guy's a slugger, big puncher, but just a slugger. And he was outboxing Hagler during that second fight. And I said, I can beat this guy. I can beat Hagler. And that's what happened. That's what drew me to say I'm gonna fight again. And I called my partner, my business partner, my trainer. I said, Mike, I'm gonna fight Hagler. He said, Ray, have you been drinking? I said, yeah, but that's not a couple beers, whatever. And when I told my brothers, and that they couldn't believe I was gonna fight Hagler. Or he even thought about it. Stacey even thought about fighting Hagler. He said, Ray, who's your tune-up? I said, no one. He said, no, who's your tune-up? I said, Hagler. He said, no, who's your tune-up? I said, Hagler's my tune-up. Because with me, I fought this guy named Kevin Howard prior to fighting Hagler, and he knocked me down. And he wasn't considered a great fighter, Kevin Howard, but he got in shape for that fight. And people thought, even back then, I was following. I was on the wrong side of the street because I was doing cocaine. I was drinking heavily. Because to be honest with you, Stacey, I was sad. I was not myself anymore. I wanted to fight, man. I wanted to fight, and the only thing that calmed me down was, alcohol and drugs. That was another reason, and one of the main reasons why my friends and my business partners and them didn't want me to come back, because they know the other side of it.
Right. And so you take this fight, and everybody, there was not a soul. And if someone tells you different, they're not being honest, right? But not a soul in boxing thought not only were you going to lose, but there was fears for your life.
All right,
But
so
you walked into that ring.
tell me what you thought.
Well, to be perfectly honest with you, I was only hoping that you did make it out alive.
So everyone did. And by the way, when I was training, because I trained for like a year, almost a year and a half for that fight. And I got hit by a sparring partner and almost knocked out 5 days before the fight in Vegas. And driving back home driving back to my hotel, no one said a word because they all thought I was getting knocked out. And because I was gonna fight him toe to toe, which would be. I mean, I have memories. I have memories I can recount. That I can make them come back to life. I can smell Roberto Duran's breath. That's how close he was to me. Yeah, it's amazing, man.
I know you don't want to do too much of that, though, right, Ray? But you said thinking about going toe to toe with Marvin Hagler, and I have to say, I was a Hagler fan too. I just was a bigger Sugar Ray fan, just for everyone to know. But the 9th round, and I don't want to really skip over this fight, but the other rounds, but the 9th round, in my book, is when you really clinched that fight. And it's not that you won the 9th round. Some people say you didn't win the 9th round, or whatever, but you stood toe to toe. And I remember whoever was announcing that fight, this is Ray is fighting off the ropes. He's fighting off the ropes. And you started going toe to toe with Marvelous Marvin Hagler. And all I can think of, and I don't know about you, was Hagler Hearns and how that turned out for Tommy Hearns. And there you were. What inspired? What got into you, Ray?
This whole fight was based upon me getting to Hagler's head. And real quickly, when we announced that I was going to fight Hagler, I wanted to beat him more mentally. So after the press conferences, before the press conference were in, I would say, guys, this is such a shame that you guys don't give Hagler the respect of a boxer. You just see him as a slugger. Hagler's a very good boxer and this and that. And I kept planting that seed. You're a good boxer, you're a good boxer, you're a good boxer. And what Hagler said at the last press conference, we did about 50 press conferences, but the last press conference, he said, I may surprise all of you. I may outbox Ray. I said, I got him. And if you go back and watch the fight, the first round, Hagler came out, Hagler southpaw, which leads with right, but he came out this way. And he's ambidextrous, but he came out left-handed, which gave me a chance to settle down because all of a sudden, I punch, I said, it still works. And all of a sudden, I was in control.
Yeah. And, Hagler, of course, believed that he won that fight. I was talking to you off camera and telling you about the one judge who had, a lot of people thought he was drinking, 10-2 in your favor. But I remember, as I said to you off camera, I actually scored it the same way, and I wasn't drinking. So, but did you think, Ray, that it was, not that it was easy, but did you think that you would have a more difficult time beating Marvin Hagler than what happened?
Basically, I may not look like it, but I'm gonna tell you something. Muhammad Ali said to me one day, he said, Ray, when I fought Joe Frazier, it was the closest thing to death. I'm like, I didn't understand that. When I fought Hagler, when I fought Hearns, Duran, the first fight, Benitez, Marcos Geraldo, those fights were so close to death to me. Because you're hanging, you can barely breathe, your legs are gone, you can barely hold your arms up. And that's when I say you reach down and create that. Oh man, you're bringing back so many memories, Stacey.
Well, one of the complaints Hagler had before we close out the discussion on Hagler and move on to other greatness. But one of the complaints he had afterwards was that he said, Ray even said to me, "You beat me, Marvin." And when you look at the fight, the video of the fight, at the end, you do go up and say something to Marvin Hagler. And it, go ahead.
You know what I said to him? I said, "You're still a champ to me. You're still a champ to me." Did I think I won the fight? I didn't know. It was like close, right? It's so subjective because they say, well, Ray Hagler was aggressive. Well, but was it effective aggressiveness? Was it effective? And also, before the first bell rung, I told one of my guys, I said, listen to me. Before the bell rings, yell 30 seconds. And what I would do, I would throw a lot of punches. So that's the last thing the judge remembered. Is it wrong? Hey, it worked for me.
Well, you know, it was tantamount to, although you didn't knock Hagler out, but I always put it tantamount to Ali Foreman back in Africa in '74. Because Ali really got into Foreman's head. He really, and Foreman was the beast.
Yeah.
Just like Hagler was the beast.
Yeah. You know, put it this way: when you judge a fight like that or score a fight like that, whether it's Ali, Frazier, Ali, George Foreman, me, and Hagler or Hearns, it's so subjective because it depends on how you see the fight. You know, like what is it effective? I mean, you know what? Hagler has his fans, and rightfully so. They have the right to say Hagler won that fight because he's a champion. And back in the day, they used to say you got to knock a champion down or out or something like to win the fight. But you know, I love Marvin. He may not think so. I respect him. I give him his props, and he deserves everything he gets and more.
Yeah. You know, I don't want to again neglect the many fans who are tuning in. Emilio Santana, going back to the Hearns fight, he says, "I begged my dad for $20 to see that fight on closed circuit TV. I was 12." Darren Brown says it was a left hook to the body that did it. Talking about again that 6th round with Tommy Hearns and Mary Welton. Sugar works out every day, she says. I guess it shows, Ray.
Oh,
Ray, I was in Madison Square Garden the night that I told everybody, I said, you know, if you ever watch the movie Rocky, and when at the end of Rocky 1, and he grabs the microphone and calls for Adrian or whatever, I said, Ray Leonard, Sugar Ray had his Adrian moment. He was fighting Terry Norris, and it went the distance.
I can't hear.
He lost the fight, and at the I'm sorry. Yeah. See, this is the only loss that I'm bringing up.
It's okay, Stacey.
Because I was there, and you grabbed that microphone in Madison Square Garden at the end, and you really gave Terry Norris his props, and I felt so bad because I was with a friend, and we paid to see you win. So this was what, 91, I believe, 92.
It was too long. Terry Norris was an incredible fighter, champion. And I knew I was in trouble because when the bell rung, he threw a jab and pow, I said, what the hell? And he just beat me up. He was stronger, he was younger, he was more just anxious, and he did a good job.
Yeah. Well, okay, I'll tell you one more loss, and then we'll get back to something else. But the other loss that disappointed me greatly, Ray, and this was, you would probably acknowledge that this was way after Father Time, right? This was Hector Camacho.
Camacho, yes.
And that was one fight that I said, man, if you was going to lose any fight, don't let it be that one. What happened, Ray? You just didn't have no legs at all.
I had no legs, without making any excuses. I mean, I pulled my calf or something, but I don't make excuses. I win or lose. And Camacho, and I love Hector. I love Hector, and we were friends. I mean, he didn't treat me like a friend, but yeah, he just was dominant. He totally dominated me. I trained hard though. I trained for that fight. I trained extremely hard for that fight. Just it was one of those nights.
Well, you know, would you agree that you was just past your prime?
It's hard for me to say that.
Oh, please say yes. Don't make it worse for me, Ray.
I was. You know what? And I considered going back and fighting just a nobody, and so I would not leave the ring being knocked out. But you know what? I had so much love and support from my family and friends and fans that I said to myself, you know what? I'm okay. I'm okay, you know? And that's when you show a little bit of humility. I mean, I've been through some big wars, big fights. It was time. It was time. I was pushing the envelope.
Yeah, yeah. And speaking of father time and pushing the envelope, there's growing expectation that Mike Tyson will fight again. You, of course, had a front row seat to his great years and not so great times that Mike Tyson had in that ring. He's well past what you and Ali also spoke of father time. Given that he has to make his own decision and it looks like he will fight, what advice would you offer him if he asks?
Let me tell you something. Mike doesn't need any advice. I mean, he knows fully well. He's been a pro for a long time and he's been dominant. He knows exactly what he has left. Because no one could tell me what made sense. I mean, what I saw, it's like me coming back for Hagler. I came back because I felt I could win. I believed I could win. Mike Tyson feels the same way. He feels the same way. He doesn't need advice.
Yeah. And like Ali, Tyson, he had a couple of years taken off of his career. I mean, Ali's situation was the draft, and Mike Tyson's situation was that he was in prison. And so we often wonder, taking off that time, Ray, Ali and Tyson, it must have had a great effect, especially for a boxer.
Inactivity for any fighter is poison. I took off from my eye injury, 4 years, 5 years. Yeah, it's a killer, inactivity. But we all have that one last fight in us. We all possess that one last fight. And whether it's against a top-notch fighter or just a regular guy or whatever the case may be, we all possess that one last fight that we shine. And you know, that moment shined for me against Hagler. And then I kept pushing the envelope, trying to go against Marcos Geraldo. This guy, that guy, Donnie Lalonde. I kept pushing the envelope, because I want to win. I want to do it. Yeah. But you know what? Again, do I have any regrets about my career? Not at all, because I'm the man I am today because of what I've been through.
Yeah. One of the fans are asking, and I saw it pop up. I forget who asked the question, so forgive me. But why did you never fight Aaron Pryor, the Hawk?
That's a question that's been asked for years. I would have thought. I mean, I don't know. I don't know why it didn't happen. I swear, I don't know why it didn't happen, because I never turned anyone down. I mean, there's been reports, there's been things that said, well, Ray didn't want to fight him, or didn't want to fight. Guys, if I fought Hearns and Hagler and Duran, I wasn't afraid to fight anyone. It just never came to fruition.
Yeah. And you know, sports, Ray, whether it's basketball, baseball, football, boxing, has been the great healer. Anytime, especially in America, anytime that there's been some sort of we've been in a pandemic, as you and I talked about earlier, prior to going on the air here, quarantine, right? And then of course there's been these protests and uprisings and things of that nature. How important do you see someone getting back into the ring, or the NBA starting up again, or Major League Baseball?
You know, sports, man, it's it's like boxing. You know, boxing is really indeed a poor man's sport. Boxing saved my life. Boxing gave me an opportunity to provide for my mother and my parents, I should say. Help my siblings out, help my friends out, and do good for the community. You know, again, I'm redundant with this, but I'm a blessed man for the sports. It's sports that we're talking now, Stacey, all these years later. We're talking.
Yeah.
The great Sugar Ray Leonard. It's such an absolute pleasure, privilege, whatever you want to call it, to discuss the sweet science with Sugar Ray Leonard. What a discussion. We want to do things a little different over here. It's so heavy. All of the Trump stuff. There was Lauren Burke sent something this morning about black journalists being fired from the Washington Post. You got folks losing their jobs left and right. There's so much heavy stuff going on. But this is a reminder that there is a respite if you choose to take it. There is some other things to talk about. And talking with Sugar Ray Leonard, talking with Otis Williams of the Temptations, Wanye from Boys to Men. We're gonna do all that. We got some folks lined up as well. Coming up, we got some partners who we've been talking with that are coming aboard, and we're gonna have some fun. Bring some light. We're gonna talk about things like where is the best place to eat. Where is the best place to travel? We're going to talk about some fashion. We're going to talk about a little bit of this and a little bit of that. But what we're not going to do, we're not going to censor people. We're not going to get in the mud with folks who might choose to invite you into the mud. Because it's just not Donald Trump that is standing in the way of black media and others. Sometimes it's those who helmet that stand in the way. And we do worse to our own sometimes than the other people do. We're gonna look at things a little different over here on Let It Be Known. I am the founder of Let It Be Known, the originator, as my man Little Richie used to say, the originator. And we're going to let it be known that black folks and black things are not just surrounded by politics, surrounded by Donald Trump. Donald Trump is doing his thing. That's up to the people. That's up to Congress. That's up to Trump and his administration. That's up to the Hakeem Jeffries of the world, the Chuck Schumers of the world, the checks and balances of the world. That's not up to me, nor what I want it to be. It's on y'all. It's on whoever wants to take that responsibility. We're not going there. We're gonna have some fun, and we invite y'all to join us in that fun. So check us out. Let It Be Known on this channel, YouTube, Facebook, X, LinkedIn. We'll get around to Instagram as well, TikTok. We're gonna do it all. We're gonna do it right. Hey, tell me what you think. Chime in as you've been doing this morning and yesterday morning, and we'll come at you with specials too at different times. Like I said, we got some partners that want to see that, and they're excited. So it makes me excited. It gives me that, as Ray was talking about, that second win. So join us, folks, and we will see you again tomorrow. We appreciate you joining Let It Be Known on this day, and continue to join. Let it be known. Appreciate you, and see you then.
Thank you, love.